Good evening, everybody. And today I have a special guest. I have little Pluto with me, who every week when I come and prepare for my earlier Sundays and Thursdays would come and look at what I'm doing, and he sits through my sessions with me. Today I changed the place, as you all notice, and this little fellow was looking all around. He's 13, and I thought that it's a beautiful thing to talk. We are going to talk about emotional development. We are going to talk about what can touch the heart. So I thought I must share what touches my heart. It could be something as simple and small a gesture as this, as a little fellow coming and looking at a space. So a big hello to Pluto, and then now time for him to run away. And of course, I have this beautiful team which I want you to meet, but the Panda is here with his little story, and the team will wait for just 1 little minute. So Pan is out in the sun. It's hot, but Pan loves to jump and run. He likes to make shadows in the sun, and he just likes to have some fun. So he thinks, oh, why should I be alone? Let me call Chip the monkey. So Chip is a chattering monkey, but today is really quiet and sad. He tells Pan he does not like to come out when the sun shines like that. And he goes right back into the house, not wanting to come out. And then he looks at the bunny and says, please come out. It's so sunny. But Bunny says, I don't like to come out when it's sunny. And he goes back into his burrow. Now, Pan is Pan, and he loves to dance and sing and jump around. He likes to see the sun. He likes to see and have fun. Now, suddenly the clouds come one by one. Gray clouds come by one, and Pan knows it's going to be ready to rain. So he calls Chip out and says, Chip, please come out. Come and save. Let's all jump in the puddles and the water pools. Oh, it's going to be so cool. But no, monkey said, no. I cannot get wet. I'm going to sit on my branch and just not jump and prance. Then he called out to Bunny. He said, Bunny, don't miss this beautiful chance. But then Bunny said, no, it's too wet. So Pan went out with a pail. He collected the raindrops in the pail and put them on his lap and made little paper boats and put them in the pail to sail. Now, sun or rain can be fun. It can be different for everyone. So somebody will be happy with the same thing. Somebody will be sad with the same thing. Somebody just will not acknowledge the things. So the emotional development, bonds, the way we all react can be different. And, to speak about this, we have this lovely, lovely team of very, very young, energetic, beautiful girls with lovely smiles. So a very warm welcome on this sunny evening. I hope you like the sun. All right, so you can unmute yourselves. And so I'm going to start by introducing Smriti, Shachi, and Toshal. Smriti, I met in a crowd of more than 150 people. She walked up to me I think it was almost 4 years back, and we connected back after so long. So Smriti, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a huge pleasure to be here, and more so to meet Pluto and to hear your story.
Pluto was a new part of the script. He was not scripted. He just came looking for me. And all right. And through Smriti, I met Shachi and Toshal. And Shachi, can you just say hello to everyone, and Toshal also? Shachi?
Yeah, hi everybody. I really loved Pluto's act for sure. That was like my highlight for the day.
Okay. All right.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, for this opportunity, and really happy to be here.
I think what has been unique about this journey today is the 51st week. 51 weeks. We stopped for a little bit in between just for a week's break. And what is so beautiful about this journey is, I think, the people on the journey. that for me was always my, my point where, and I have to tell the audience who's listening to us today that normally a lot of people will message me that, thank you for inspiring, and, we like to listen to you. But I am going to introduce you to these young people who I feel inspired looking at. The kind of work they showed, the kind of energy. There were times when Smriti would call me up and say, can I speak with you? And I would say, I'll call you back. And she would call again and again. And I was telling my husband, I said, this is the fire that you want to see in young people, where they don't have egos. They're not worried that, oh, she's not call me back, but just reaching out. And Smriti, the first thing I'm going to ask you and to talk about is one. I thought you must tell the audience your, base, your qualification, and what made you come towards, you know, creating this wonder of emotional stability and happiness in children and adolescents.
Um, Thank you so much, ma'am, for pointing that out and for sort of, as you said, for opening doors for us. Opening the door to your heart, to your stories, to your expertise, and welcoming us here today. And congrats on the 51st week. So, my journey would include that, as we know here, that I went to IIT Bombay, and when I went to IIT Bombay, yes, it was an absolute dream come true. But when I went there, like a lot of people there, I was sort of lost, and I was sort of not connecting to what I was doing. So it did not take me much time, to turn to the field of education. Very soon, I was teaching children who came from an underprivileged background, and I was taking courses to learn more about education. And personally, I felt very connected to children. I felt very connected to changing the system of education, and emotionally, if we talk about and I would say that nowadays I express myself with so much ease. So currently, right now, to a bunch of strangers that might be listening to me right now, but I had a horrible time. I had such a difficult time expressing myself, and it was through the support and patience of a bunch of amazing friends and family along the way that I could find myself and that I could express myself. So, which is why I strive to my best effort, create that space, create that home for other people. And which is why we at Council, we work towards creating that safe haven for children and, of course, for our amazing team here. So that's my
Wonderful, wonderful.
small
So
journey.
somebody, this is also something very beautiful, which we've been talking to parents, teachers, that, allow children to follow their heart and then give them that little space to succeed. That is how, and everybody is not necessary that, so you're getting into an IIT Mumbai proves a point that I am capable. I could get there. But I think a bigger point is proved when you go there and find what you don't want to do. I think it's a big lesson for all of us sometimes. I was lucky, Smriti. I just followed and found my heart right from the beginning. So I have never needed to, explore space. But every person like you makes me feel that I'm so blessed to be sitting in this space. And so now, so Smriti is telling us about how she, with the help of people, felt that she could express, talk, share better, and she wants to create that happy space for children. And I have seen these wonderful girls work with teams of children. I haven't done much work with them, but the little work that I've done, I've seen children express fabulously. And also very interesting, Shachi, is that I see that your idea, so Shachi also participates in the design, they all do it together, but Shachi also leads a big part of the design. And Toshal, I think, does a lot of the content with all of you and the training and the application. So Shachi, tell me one thing. When you design for an activity, you design your sheets, you design this wonderful book that you'll have designed for children. When you look at that page, what is the first thought that comes to your mind?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking me that question. I mean, when you look at the book, the design, it looks like, oh, it's just so simple. But I mean, it's the most complicated thing in the whole thing, the whole picture, because the one thing that one needs to be mindful about is the empathy factor there, because unless you are empathetic towards the audience that is going to use that, you need to put yourself in their shoes. What is the colors that they like? What is the flow that somebody would like? What would a 8-year old like, what would a 12-year-old like differently? So I mean, you have to consider a lot of different aspects and then put it out there, and then again make it simple, which is again complicated. So I mean, I think that's something that I do hold myself for when I'm designing something.
That
The
you,
empathy factor, yeah.
the empathy. And so, this is also a lovely feedback for anybody who's designing content. I think that is the reason why I said we're not going to just talk about your books, but I'm also looking at people who want to go into content design, content creation. I always say, don't let the soul be missing. It's not
Yeah.
a amount of data that you're going to put on the paper, but how you will reach the soul of that user, that is so important, Chachi. That is was one more reason why I really wanted you all to come on the show, because I see a lot of people who will call me up and say that I write really good English. So can I, can I become a content writer? Everybody who writes really good English cannot become a content writer, right? Because that
Yeah.
person has to research, that person has to. So tell me, Toshal, now, you are an early years educator. How
Yes.
much of that helps you to do what you have to do with the social emotional development? And what part of it helps you? So, first, what helps you? How much does it help you?
Right. So, ma'am, being a social, emotional, learning person, and also being an educator, it's very important to reach their hearts, like we all talk about. And going back to my childhood, I remember all the days where I was misunderstood, or where I felt that, oh, I am so different, or maybe I'm not the one who always excels, or maybe I'm not the one who always knows all the answers. But then there was nobody to even support that confusion in my mind, or to clarify things in my mind. There weren't teachers around who could just tell me, or give a pat on my back and say, it's okay, Toshal, it's okay if today is not a good day. Maybe how about we start again tomorrow? We did not have such teachers around, or such adults around for that. So I feel that today, when we are dealing with children, or we are even starting to teach children, it's very important to first start with what they want to do, or what their heart tells them to, or what they feel about themselves, or how they perceive the world around them. Because it's very confused in that age. It's very confused, everything is messed up, you're always learning new things, you're learning new things about yourself, and then you're just like, oh, maybe I'm not like, I'm not good enough, or say, oh, I don't know that, so I'm dumb, or something like that. But we need to spread that thing to everyone, that everyone is different and you are good at something or the other. It's just you need to explore more. You need some support from teachers, some support from your friends, adults, to even show you that good in you. So yeah, social emotional learning and children, it all starts with heart.
It all starts with a heart. All right. So this beautiful team, has works with these treasure boxes. So today I thought, let me find my treasure box. So today, first, what I did was I thought, let me find this treasure box for Pan. So Pans, I've got Pan's treasure box. What Pan has in the treasure box is a couple of hearts. Okay. And every time he feels happy about something, he picks up one heart, writes about it, and puts it back. So when Pan's mama asks him, when are you going to share all these hearts? So he says, when my box is full. So Pan is going to keep collecting all these wonderful hearts. And like I always tell everybody, Toshal, this is exactly what you said. When I came down, I was sitting with these slips of paper. I did not plan to cut them into hearts. But the minute I was sitting down to talk to you all, I picked up the silver scissor and I made hearts. Because it's so true, for all of us. So, when we talked about young change makers, this is what we called our program today, young change makers and social emotional development. This is a digital world. It's a world which is WhatsApping, LinkedIn, number of likes, views, profile, analysis. So it was very interesting, Smriti. I'm an author with another organization. So one fine day I take a webinar and suddenly after the webinar is over, I get this graph popping up, how many people stayed on, how many liked, how many left. I thought it was a happy session, because for me, the responses on the chat box were all I calculated. I was just looking at people responding and I felt that great. I didn't feel the need of this, but this is what the truth is of today. So that is why, and then, sometimes, let me also tell you all this, that we assume that the younger generation, many times it's an assumption that they think differently, and which is fabulous, right? So I felt that, as like I'm 54 this year, right? And I think anybody at any stage must learn from the gen today. It's a fabulous generation. And each time I'm interacting with anyone, whether it's in the digital field, the writing field, I think it's fabulous work. So one more question, Smriti, is how did all of you meet and collaborate? We talk about the 21st century skills. I don't see much of happy collaboration many times, but I see you all as happy collaborators. So how did you all meet and how did you decide to collaborate?
So again, I think it was all organic. Uh, I came back to Ahmedabad almost 2 years ago to my hometown to pursue, what I wanted to start on social emotional learning for children coming from humble backgrounds. And I started doing a few sessions, and Shachi was actually one of the participants in our first sessions. However, in the second session, she reached even before me, and even before the place had opened. So it was, and during those sessions, and being a Teach for India fellow, and having a context of SEL, social emotional learning herself, she was so engaged, so active. Whenever like I would ask for volunteers to write something on the board, she would be the first person to volunteer for those things, and would share amazing insights on children's experience, on her experience, etc. And then as soon as her Teach for India fellowship completed, she came on full time with council. And Toshal was also, again, a very, very a lovely serendipity, like how I met Toshal. I had been working with one of her classmates who was an intern with us. And Toshal came to know about our organization from that classmate. And she was very, very proactive, very, very articulate, so mature, like for her age, and very, very impressive. And she reached out to me that saying, Smriti, I'd love to work with you guys. And then she interned with us for a couple of months, and then she was so good that we took her on full time in our team. Yeah.
Beautiful. So it's Smriti, another very when I met the Square Panda team, young team. It's like a vibrant, wonderful team of people. So these are people with so much of energy, like in the sense of they're excited. If you give them design, they'll come up with really nice solutions. And what I love about the way all of you work is, and even what I've seen with all of you, even in your launch, the way you used technology to make us happy. So Shachi, there was this thing I asked you about. It's a meter, it's a vote meter that they have. So could you, it was something so simple. But when I was typing my responses and it was coming on the screen, I normally am not a very, I have my inhibition sometimes. But I was super excited about it. So I think that's another beautiful thing we can talk about, Smriti, in this environment, in times of today when everything is online, with teachers, second year in a row, teachers are not able to meet. What is it that you all would tell them that can help them to reach the learners a little bit, in a more positive way? If you could just talk a bit about that. Who would, I mean, anybody, Shachi, Smriti, Toshal, who would like to take the, I didn't make a list of questions, Smriti, for any particular person in the team. And if you could talk about this, that online during these times, how can we make it a little better for, the teachers? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can go if
Yes,
social
yes,
and Smriti
yes.
would you mind. Yeah. So I think one of the major things is that even the teachers are really putting their best, and nobody is there to pat their back and tell them that, you are doing a great job out there. Because it's so difficult being an educator in these times when you have been so much used to the traditional
Yeah.
methods of teaching, and altogether you have to learn different ways. So I think the growth mindset starts right there from the teacher themselves. Like they are the role models for the children of what they are doing out there. So I think one thing that I would like to, I don't know, I would like to tell the teachers or what, but I think it's just being the authentic self. Just trying to understand from the children how they are feeling, make having that safe space of just a simple check-in. We used to do this on our team, remember guys, like we have this habit of every morning we do this thing where we just ask each other how are we feeling, what space are we in, and where do we want, like what will help us to be in a better space. So I think that's really important, I feel, as teachers also, to just do a 5-minute quick check-in with the students. That has such a long lasting impact. And not just the students, even adults for that matter, like who is there out there to ask you how are you really doing. So I think that's something which is very important, I feel.
I love this. I
Yeah.
love this check-in. Yeah. So there's a beautiful song that we sing, looking in the mirror, what do you see? So do you see yourself smiling at you? And so and none of us do that. We just don't get up and smile at ourselves in the morning and say, good job done. Yeah. So
True.
Smriti, there was this growth mindset that you were talking about. Could you just talk a little bit about it in the sense that we understand it better?
Sure, absolutely, ma'am. Yeah. Um, so when we talk about growth mindset, it's very simple, but not easy to, sort of follow or to hold on to when, the times are tough. It simply means that you have that mindset that we are not born with talents, or we are not born with everything that we need to know. When we were born, we did not even know how to walk. And when we started to learn how to walk, how many times did we fall? Right? And we got back up. And now walking is so obvious for us, right? So for each and everything, of course, do not mistake me that, so of course there is innate talent or innate liking or innate talents for certain things. For example, I am an athletic person. I have a, really good endurance and really good stamina for sports. Not that I use it so much, but the idea is that anything that you take up, a fixed mindset person always thinks that, oh no, this is too hard. Once I fail, I do not get another chance. And a growth mindset person, more often than not, thinks that, oh, what can I try next? How can I do better? Oh, let me try it this way. If this doesn't work, it's okay, I'll try a third way. And there's a beautiful, very cute ad video by Surf Excel actually, where they show children and parents separately trying to walk on a log which is, like uske aaju baaju pura कीचड़ है. And when parents try to walk, they as soon as they fail, they're so embarrassed कि अरे कपड़े गंदे हो गए, and they just walk away. And when kids uh, when kids are trying to work on that love, they then came up with different ways, things like they would help each other, कि एक दूसरे के हाथ पकड़ के they would go, then they would make a line so that they can follow each other very closely. And one kid also started crawling on the log, right? And then in the interview after that, one kid says that, oh, I think कि parents ने तो सोचा कि once we get a chance, उसके बाद हमें दूसरा chance ही नहीं मिलेगा, कि एक बार अगर fail हो गए तो हो गए. And then a kid thinks about it and he's like, no, that's not true. And he's like, कौन बोला? And it's a beautiful way of challenging that mindset that we usually get into.
I think, Smriti, by just listening to you, the other day somebody was asking me also this question, that before the session, when we started these sessions for the first time, so your stomach rolls a bit when you're coming to sit down. There's a little roll that happens. So they said that, how do you overcome that roll? I said, don't overcome it. Just don't overcome it, enjoy that little roll. When you're doing that comb, let that little heartbeat go up, let that little roll come. Get your little mascot and sit down कि नहीं भैया पैन के बगैर तो मैं नहीं शुरू करूंगी. So do it, it's fine, it doesn't matter, And if you falter, please remember it's a process, and if you don't falter and recover, nobody is going to believe it's possible. So I think what you're saying is so correct that, Smriti, today I normally work in another room. And because I was to meet all of you beautiful people, I actually took out a bright dress. I changed my setup. I got out of my comfort zone. I came here. All these lights is for all of you people, from all of us, to just wish happy homes, to wish all the lights that are there in each one of our lives to just spread. I think that's what growth is all about. Thoda girenge, thoda samblenge, thoda pakdenge, and just share. I think that's like a fabulously important thing to do. I would like you all to now talk about maybe some incidents with children. So I also want to tell the audience who's listening to us. Now, these guys work with an audience from children of the age group of 5 to about adolescent, So it's a wide range of children that they work with. And I want you to just tell us your most difficult experience and your nicest experience. So make it short so that we can hear from all three of you. The most difficult and the nicest, and make it very crisp and short. So, because I have 2 more things to ask you on. Okay, come. Okay, Toshal, ready to go.
Yeah. All right. So I shouldn't be saying difficult because now I have growth mindset. So there was this one time where I was supposed to take a pilot session with kids from Tamil Nadu. And then after some process, we got to know that those kids don't know English much, or, they're not able to conversate much in English. They're not able to understand English. So for 5-10 minutes, I was like, oh my God, how will I take the session? Because they will not understand what I'm saying. I will not understand what they are saying. And then we just had this moment of growth mindset that whatever it is, we'll just crack it. And then there was this beautiful girl called Kamli who helped us through. And how we used to conversate was, I used to speak in English. She used to conversate or, convert it into Tamil. And she used to tell to kids. The kids used to share in Tamil. She used to come back to me in English. So for 5 to 10 minutes, I felt as if this was the most difficult task for me with kids. But then with growth mindset, everything works magic. And the best moment that I had with kids was, I was new to this school where I started as an educator. And it was a summer camp and kids did not know me, or, I did not know kids. They were new. And suddenly one kid comes from a bridge running and he comes and hugs me. like as if he knew me since ages. He just hugged me. His mom is shocked. All the teachers around me are shocked. I'm shocked. Why did they come? Just he just came and hugged me, and that was he just hugged me like today is my first day in school. So bindas he came and hugged me. I was like, wow, we need such kids here now.
Yes. So just imagine, I was just also, these days I'm also looking at the Facebook Live so that I can see how people are getting involved. So I liked what Toshal said, that it was not difficult. It's not difficulty, it's challenging. Let's call it challenging. See, my growth mindset is also changing now. My list of words is going to change. अब मैं next time एक नया list बना के बैठूंगी. So Toshal, hug. One just, I love the word bindas. Bindas hug and not to worry about things. Okay, so who's going next? Okay, so all right.
Yeah, sure, I can go next. Um, so once again, I don't think I remember the most challenging moment with children, but I would love to share my favorite, and I'm sure Shachi and Toshal have already heard it, multiple times. Shachi को पता है कौन सा मैं बताने वाली हूँ. So it was a winter morning, and सुबह 7:45 का सेशन है स्कूल में in which is 1 hour away from my place. I am not a morning person. So मैं आधी नींद में कुछ कुछ करके सेशन लेने वहां पहुंची, and then we started the session. Now, the session was on empathy, and we were just done with like some icebreaker and some energizers, and now the kids were ready to start to talk about empathy. And I hear that okay, like यहाँ पे बच्चे कुछ कुछ एक दूसरे से बातें कर रहे हैं, but we have to understand that in SEL sessions we never are very harsh on them. We let them take their time, we let them take the ownership, to calm themselves down. और मुझे, even though I was a little sleepy, grumpy, whatever, I was like, हाँ वो settle down हो जाएंगे थोड़ी देर में. And then within 60 seconds जो मेरे सबसे पास एक लड़की बैठी थी, वहां पे वो लोग बेसिकली एक मैट ढूंढ रहे थे, क्योंकि सारे बच्चे मैट पे बैठे थे और मैं जमीन पे बैठी थी. So they were looking for a mat for me while I was prepping for a session on empathy.
Empathy.
Yeah, it was the most beautiful moment that I had with kids, hands down.
Yes. So beautiful that is, that imagine, I mean, and we don't anticipate this. This is also
Yeah.
something which I definitely want to kind of remind ourselves as people who, that don't underestimate who you are going to interact with.
Never.
Don't.
Yes.
Suspiti, I travel a lot into the heart of India. A lot of travel. Because stopped for the last couple of months. But I should travel around 130 days in a year. Back to back to back to back to back. And people used to ask me, ki, you don't need to prepare. You're going to so-and-so place. I said, really? Sometimes you will find philosophy in the heart of India. So there was a lovely place called Panda, close by to Delhi. And I went and asked them a question that, are you copycats? So this, old maths teacher, I remember, there, even if you go for the earlier session, everybody will be sitting. And he looked at me and said, कि मैडम ये तो आपकी शहरी भाषा है. हम इसको गुणों का आदान प्रदान कहते हैं. आपके गुण हम ले लेते हैं, अपने गुण आपको दे देते हैं. तो इसमें कॉपी कैट कुछ नहीं होता. So, so that's the philosophy we come across. So never underestimate who you are going to, interact with, right? So that's a beautiful story. Shachi, your chance.
Yeah, I think my story is the challenging and the nicest one both together. So I was having actually a very challenging day when I was a Teach for India fellow. One of the days when it was just so gloomy, I was crying in the classroom. I was sitting there because all my charts had been gotten down. My entire classroom was in mess, and I am crying there. No, none of the students have arrived, but I was not able to hold myself out there. And then the students start arriving. They see that okay, the Didi is crying, and they just come and first don't know what to do about it, and then they started patting my back and everything. And then they saw that the class has been toned down, and these girls started telling me that you talk about grit, you talk about compassion, you talk about everything that we stand for, and you are only crying and giving up on this. So how could you do that? So I mean, that was the nicest moment for me, because 2 years down the line you have been with those children, and like you said, right, it's the young ones that teach you so much out there. Like, they grasp grit like that. It's us who take time to put in action, to start applying those things. And that was like an eye opener for me, that this is really something. Like, kids are really onto something when you have really gotten them into their heads. So I think that was one of the most nicest moment for me, which I cherish forever, I think.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, like when I met Smriti, I was starting my next, segment of work. I had just finished my World of Phonics, and I started my next segment of work. And so there was a certain design, there's a certain way I do things for years. So Smriti actually triggered off that change in when I met. Smriti, that's the big reason that I wanted to connect with you, is because suddenly every time I finished a conversation with you, I would feel a part of me changing. I said, yeah, this is how you can do it also. So I think today my whole reason for getting this beautiful team together is that I'm working with a lot of teams. I'm working with different kinds of people. And I have to tell everybody who's watching this is, please don't take your design for granted. Understand that there is change, understand that there are different things possible, understand that there are different ways to do it, understand that there are people who are failing and standing back and fighting it. So I think that's one big thing that this team is going to do for all of us, is create that fantastic energy. So Smriti, we have 5 minutes. I want you to share. So today it's a very special day for us, because normally we make these activity sheets for you. Today, this wonderful team from Council is actually going to share a part of their design. Most people keep the design close to their heart. And we talked about social emotional development and young change makers. These wonderful girls have actually taken out sheets from their book, and they're going to share it with all of us. I would like, you all to just share the screen, talk about it, and all of you can download this, use it for your children and enjoy it, use it for yourself. Mera to ye dekho, see, this is my little box that I have created. So over to you, Smriti.
That is so lovely, ma'am. And uh, so I would also like to tell you that each and every time that we spoke to you, I also mentioned in our previous last week during our soft launch that you have been our constant cheerleader, our box of positivity, and that's amazing. So thank you for inspiring, and thank you for cheering us on.
Thank you. So, these days we don't have, Ashish is busy. So, the person who heads this Panda team in India, when I met him for the first time, Smriti, for the first 10 sessions, he was here to meet the speakers. In fact, maybe more. Now, of course, everybody gets really occupied and think, but I say that good, and I feel so confident about sharing this platform with so many people, because that's the kind of platform this fantastic organization wants to give people, just to share. There's just no other thought. So, it's beautiful.
Lovely.
A box of memory there, and let's
Yes.
enjoy this little journey with Smriti now.
Yes. So maybe what we'll do is I will start with this, and then maybe Shachi and Toshal, can walk
Yeah.
us through the other
Next one.
activity
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
quickly. So I have this very big box, very big bag rather, जिसमें I have each and every letter, each and every small thing that somebody has made for me. And it can be a simple note जो हम एक दूसरे को हॉस्टल में लिखते थे. तो कोई किसी ने अगर कोई नोट लिखा है कि सुनना मुझे सुबह उठा देना 7 बजे क्लास के लिए, तो वो नोट भी मेरे पास अभी तक है. So I would like to, like all of us, to maybe just, take a moment and think about what is it that is in your memory box or your box of things that you are really really thankful for. So I will maybe just quickly share something that I have with me right here. And this is actually one of the first uh, paintings that I have gotten from this beautiful person, friend and colleague called Shachi, uh, who's gifted this to me, and it's really 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 special to me. And yeah, so that is something very close to my heart that I wanted to share with all of you. Yes, so I would like to invite Shachi or Toshal to talk about like this puzzle, and all of us here are welcome to even try it out.
Social, I suggest you go. Like you have done this ample number of times.
Okay, okay. So we listen to Tochal. Yes, come Tochal, please.
So, this is a puzzle of, say, growth mindset and puzzle for trying and not giving up. So, I think it's just simple and everybody can do this quickly. You just think how you can make a fish swim in a different direction by just changing a matchstick or something. Let's take, I guess, 2 minutes or say 1 minute for Sonia ma'am. Why don't you try? Since we all know the answer, so we won't be going for.
Toshal, yeah, Toshal, we have just 2 minutes to go. So I want you to take everybody through these sheets. Right? So just do that. मैं अभी जैसे ही खत्म होगा मैं try करूँगी. I get my sticks and
Done, 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 man. So this is our one shot at how kids can try and learn growth mindset by keep on trying, because we will not be providing them answers here on this page itself. So answers will be hidden somewhere. So they need to find it, because before they get to the answer, they need to try this. Then I think Shachi can go forward with explaining the posters.
Sure. So, Toshal and Smriti just shared about two different activities. What we also have is different posters. So usually when I think about it, it's like those teenage days when posters used to inspire you a lot. So I think that was one of the also reasons, like posters are really very inspiring. So that's the reason we have also posters here. This is again a poster on growth mindset, which talks about what happens when your brain is really active and when it's in the mode of learning, and that's how growth mindset works, because that's when all your neurons start firing, and you get that boost and you get that rush of dopamine and you really want to try it out. But when we operate from a fixed mindset, or where we are like using a brick brain, we call it, we are usually in a space where like, I can't do this, or yeah, let me laze around, or let my brain sleep. So these are a couple of posters here about growth mindset. Smriti, do you want to take?
Yeah, and lastly, to just maybe conclude before handing over to Sonia ma'am, this is one of the posters from one of our chapters that talks about hope. In these times, the best of us, we lose sight of where we are, what we are doing, and we feel really alone at times. None of us are exceptions to that. Most of us are feeling that way. So this is a simple exercise where you think of three good things that happened to you on that day, and maybe talk about them out loud, or write them in your journal, or share them with a friend. So yeah, so that's us, ma'am. Over to you.
so Toshal, I should change the direction.
Yay!
So the bottom line is try it. Believe that you can do it, and it's okay if you fail. Just go to Toshal and say, "Bata do na." Kam nothing to worry about, but try it out. Reach out. So today, what the wonderful treat. I think it is. Up next sessions, जब मैं करूँगी, तो you will find all these posters printed and put in my room now. So that's going to be my Yeah.
Ma'am, I wanted to share one thing before we part ways.
Tell, please, please.
So, I just want to tell you that I'm really grateful to have known you, because the other day when I was in school and we had just received a fresh bunch of Oxford books, and
Okay.
I was in my principal's office by chance, and I just मेरा ध्यान गया and I saw कि उस पे सोनिया मिस सोनिया रेलिया लिखा है, and I was like, oh my god, do you know what, ma'am, I know this person. And then I shared her and I was so proud that, oh my god, I just know this person जिसके books इतने सारे schools में जाते हैं, इतने amazing
Oh.
books थी, ma'am. When I opened the books, it was full of life. So yeah, I'm just proud, and I feel so good.
So now I will tell them when I see little children using your book. So what is do you have the name of your book, the journal that you've written, Smriti? If you can just tell us the name of it, or if you have a copy, if you can show it to us.
Yes, ma'am. So
Copy
it's
here.
called, yes, it's called Let's Be Positive.
Oh yes.
And the idea is that, yeah, I'm sorry. The idea is that the idea is not to to suppress yourself, or let's say if you're feeling some negative or unpleasant emotions, to suppress them. No, but the idea is that there is good in every situation. Even if you're going through a challenging situation, you always learn something out of it, and there is always a benefit that you derive out of anything that happens. So yeah, and let
Yes.
me share
Yes, you
what
must.
it looks like. So yeah, that's
Oh,
Let's Be
beautiful.
Positive,
That's
where
lovely.
children can write about positive thoughts, positive emotions, and anything and everything that they would want to write about.
Beautiful. So thank you so much, all you beautiful people. And, the reason why I need to put up a poster in my room is that every day these days, we definitely are not listening to thoughts, to messages, to news, to losses. And what Smriti said is what we have to carry, that we don't deny that this is a moment of difficulty. We don't just say that every day is a happy day. But yes, when it's raining, you can hold out your pail to collect those drops of water. You can make these little boats and sail them. Some days are not positive. You've just lost too much. But if you meet each other, if you connect with each other, if you just, maybe the little endurance will go up. I think that's the best we can do. So wishing everybody with lights, with these beautiful energy of the girls, positivity, a lot of sharing, a lot of the bell, because the sound, they say, comes faster than what you see. So you do, so the light, when you hear, how do you hear? So a lot of bells to you and a lot of happiness to you. Listen to happy sounds, listen to happy energy, and keep sharing, keep growing, keep collaborating. God bless you. And next week, everybody, we are going to start a whole segment on language development. So now that our emotions are good and strong, it's time to, develop and express and learn a little bit about phonics and language development. So see you all next week. And thank you, girls. Thank you for making this evening so beautiful. Bye bye.
Square, square, panda.